Hello there, welcome to the penultimate Year 7 lesson. It's Mr. Baines again, and we're here to look at war and military tactics. Our driving question today is how different was the way Mesopotamian warfare to the tactics used by the Normans during wars? So we are comparing Mesopotamian tactics to Norman tactics today. Now we have 10 knowledge revision questions. Half are on the Battle of Hastings and half are on the Assyrian Empire warfare. These are all revision questions based on what we have done before. Pause the video and go and do the quiz now. Fantastic. When we look at Mesopotamia this week, we are mainly looking at the Assyrian Empire, as it says here, which you can see in the green. So this dark green is what they expanded, the light green is what they started with. So they got bigger as an empire. The Assyrians developed organised warfare on a grand scale. They created the first ever permanent army. This permanent and well-organised fighting force meant that the Assyrians could be constantly invading other lands, which you can see they managed to do well. The Assyrians developed military tactics to a very sophisticated level. Cities in Mesopotamia were surrounded by walls, as you can see here, a bit like what we see at Canterbury with the Roman rule around it. Siege tactics were used to defeat towns surrounded by these walls. The first tactic was to cut off food supply to a city, which would starve the people inside. Second was to catapult diseased livestock, so animals, over the walls. This would then give the people inside diseases and kill them. Finally, as you can see here, we have a battering ram. So this is the battering part, and as you can see, it is put in a hole in the wall. This was a battering ram, and the Assyrians used it to create holes in the wall. So this was the Assyrian invention. When the Assyrian Empire took over new places, they did not treat the survivors well. Each city would have to send a tribute out to the Assyrian Empire. Here you can see these tributes being impaled onto spikes. So you can see this one's on a spike here, this one's on that spike, and that one's on that spike. And they'd slowly die up on those spikes. And this was what the Assyrians did to the people they took over. Now for task 1, you just need to answer these 3 very simple questions. Think back to the siege warfare and the battering rams. The battering ram would go here and the siege warfare tactics would go here. So starving and then diseased animals. And then talking about the defensive walls. So why do you think they had them around them? There are sentence starters to help you with this task. So pause the video and go and do task 1 now. Brilliant. Now we're going to look at the Normans. The best way to do that is the Battle of Hastings and the Bayeux Tapestry. So this is the Bayeux Tapestry and it tells the story of the Battle of Hastings. As you can see here, the main military tactic used by the Normans was their cavalry, which is riding on horses. We know this because this Norman here, we can tell he's a Norman from his shield, is fighting an Anglo-Saxon here while riding a horse. Don't ask me why he's not sitting on the horse seat. You have to remember this is a piece of sewing, a bit of tapestry, so they did make mistakes on anatomy and things like that. The second most famous Norman military tactic was called the feigned retreat, and you can see it here in this part of the Bayeux Tapestry. You can tell it's a retreat because this Norman is facing the other way. I don't know why his horse is facing that way, but this is depicting the feigned retreat because he's pointed that way and they're all going to start going this way and not attack anymore. The feigned retreat was when they pretended to run away and then they would turn around and attack the charging Anglo-Saxons. This happened several times until the Anglo-Saxon shield wall broke and Harold Godwinson was killed and the Normans won. Now for task 2, you are going to write down a sentence in each of these boxes explaining what the feigned retreat is. So this is box 1, so you can see they are retreating. It's box 2, so box 1, the fighting force come down. Box 2, the cavalry attack the shield wall. Box 3, the cavalry retreat. Box 4, the cavalry turn round and kill the people left. Box 5, Harold Godwinson dies, Normans win. And you're basically writing that in your own words. Bit of a tip, this is about the feigned retreat. So pause the video and explain what happened with the feigned retreat now. Bravo! So now we are on to the exam question. This time we are looking at differences. So see here it says difference. We've looked at this question many times now, so whether it's similarities or differences, today is differences. So think about the military tactics we have looked at and how they are different. Think about the siege tactics and the use of animals. Think about the cavalry. Are they the same? Did the Normans use battering rams? Did they need to? Once you've done the exam question, you then move on to the exit ticket, which shows me what you have learnt this lesson. And then you are done for this lesson. Well done. You've only got one Year 7 lesson left. So keep up the good work, and I'll see you next week for a summary of Mesopotamia versus the Normans versus the Romans. Thank you very much, guys.